Hello, my name is Miss Sederbaum. We are here at Fairfield Middle School, and today we are talking about media literacy for my U.S. History 2 and Civics and Economics class. Alrighty, guys. So this chart should look familiar to you all. I want everybody to partner up with somebody at their table, whether it's across, diagonal, next door, and you're going to discuss this chart with somebody at your table. All right, so you're going to have 8 minutes to do so, and then we're going to come back together and go over some of this stuff. And then there'll be a second part to kind of wrap up and see how much we've learned about this chart. So 8 minutes is going to start in just a second. Familiarize yourself with the chart that you're looking at, even though we're kind of already familiar with it. All right, and then also go ahead and scroll through the questions really quickly so that you're familiar with those when you and your partner are ready to discuss and work together. And if you have any notes or anything, you can certainly jot them down. Okay. All right, I'm going to start the timer, and then I'll be circulating to help individual partners. I want you guys bouncing ideas back and forth, going through the chart, pointing things out to each other, all that stuff, okay?
Conservative Review, American, Conservative Magazine, Tea Party Review, Red State, Right Wing News. Okay. So basically, just talking about like avoid the certain ones that have those in it.
Yeah, because if you watch the ones that's like biased to another one, you're just gonna get the information that might not be the same.
And you don't know about the other one. You don't know, like, say there was a Democratic news source, but then you have a Republican news source that was like saying something that's true.
The bubble is more this idea that we only get information from our friends and our family and people that are like-minded. And it's really about stretching ourselves so that we can get different points of view. Exactly, Adriana.
The chart says you should avoid many things. Summarize in your own words what it says in 2 and 3 sentences.
Good job. You know, it's a lot easier when you
Try and avoid news sources with bias.
It tells you like the sources that you
New article. Some third question yet? Wait, it just said. Oh, and it also said insult.
Oh.
Yeah, so we had to include insult too.
So understanding the other side would probably, I feel like that would be in the first side where it says you black people.
What'd you guys find out about living in the bubble?
So like you're supposed to like try to aim for the middle.
Yeah, aim for the middle, right? That political spectrum that we were talking about. All right, good. So yeah, that's something you can absolutely put, and then anything from here and here would also count. So check out those areas. Okay.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah, good job on number 2. I like that. Number 2, good deal. Good deal.
Oh, we're on question 3.
Okay, cool.
No, we gotta put 3.
Yeah, good job. Number 2, absolutely. You got to be wary of human interest stories for bias and things like that. Good job.
I had that at first, but then I changed it because I read it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. 2 and 3 are looking good. Yeah, just finish your sentence on number 3. Absolutely. Oh, wait, go back up to number 4. Which choose? Okay, so you chose Drudge Report, BuzzFeed, and the Huffington Post. All right, cool. Good job. Yeah, there's a few that you can choose from. Yeah. Yeah. I like that. You mentioned the tagline, the bias in the tagline. That's good. Good job. All right, guys, just a time check. We have about 2.5 minutes left with our partners, and then we'll be coming back together.
Avoid news sources that insult or ignore alternate bias in the title or tagline.
The avoid part, yeah, it says a couple things. Mostly on the left, it says avoid. So you want to choose a few things from there. Focus on words that we've talked about. Absolutely, bias, wonderful. So make sure when you're talking about things to avoid, you're looking at the left part where it says, it gives you certain things, especially focus in and narrow in on the ones that we've talked about in class mostly, okay, on the left. Yep. So what group would like to share for number 1? What group would like to share for number 1? Okay, yes ma'am, right here.
So we said
Okay, start by assuming the best in people. Absolutely. It's great advice for anything. What else did they say?
Ask questions and listen about the news.
Okay, ask questions, listen for the news. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am, want to add to it?
Like, you should look for things on both sides, so like aim for the middle.
Yeah, okay, looking for things on both sides, aiming for that middle ground. Go ahead.
We pretty much said that, but we said we should be interactive with all news, not just your usual side.
Absolutely,
Try to
all
understand
news.
The other side of the news.
I like that. Trying to understand the other side, even though sometimes that's difficult for us. Yes, ma'am.
And sometimes people pay attention to like-minded things instead of trying to observe different things.
Absolutely. So they say about living in the bubble is that, we have friends, we have family, and we associate ourselves with people that are just like us, that are like-minded. And so if we're only getting that news from, our next door neighbor, or our friend on Facebook, or that person that feels the same way we do about it, it kind of limits our information, and we can't really get a full spectrum, a full picture, if we're not really exposing ourselves to both sides of the story. Or not just that, but just facts in general. We have to be exposed to more facts than opinion. Okay? All right, number 2. Yeah, go ahead.
It says that you should be wary of when you're watching the news of human interest stories.
Yeah, human interest stories, they tend to play up a lot of bias. Absolutely, absolutely, good. And then anybody want to talk about some of the shows that they literally pinpointed some shows that we should be really careful about watching, and just know that if we do watch them, they're probably more opinion than they are fact. Anybody come up with some good examples of that? Okay, yeah, Parker, go ahead.
It says like you should like also when you're watching the news you should like when they're talking about human interest stories about like murder and kidnapping, crimes like that.
Absolutely.
I think that can be a little bad. So
Okay, so any of those type of shows? Okay, and then what other specific television shows did you guys write down for, I think for number 4? Any specific ones? Yes, ma'am. Which one is it?
Fox News.
Okay, so things on Fox News, be careful about opinions on Fox News, okay? Or any news source, absolutely. Anybody mention a specific story, or not a specific story, but a specific news program? They actually listed a few of them, of ones to avoid. Yes, ma'am.
Seth
Okay, Seth Meyers, so late night televisions can sometimes be skewed, absolutely. Is that what you were gonna say?
I was gonna say Stephen Colbert.
Stephen Colbert, absolutely, yep.
conservative talk radio.
Conservative talk radio, absolutely. So yeah, basically a lot of those examples that you just heard are things that tend to be more opinion driven than factual based. So the chart kind of steers us in the right direction. What do you guys notice about the middle of the chart? What do they call that zone? Yeah. The golden zone, the Goldilocks zone. So it's supposed to be just right. So it's that part where when we look at that, anything in that gold zone, that middle spectrum, we feel that we should be safe getting our news from, and it'll bring kind of both sides into play. Okay? And we're going to talk about number 5 in just a few minutes because it directly relates to our electoral college articles. Okay? All right, so the next thing, I'm going to give you guys a piece of paper, and there's one question to answer on this piece of paper. All right, so you're looking at these 2 news stories, and you're determining which one of these articles would you read if you were trying to learn the facts about this situation. So it gives you a little screenshot of 2 articles. So investigate that for a second, look at it. Make sure you read all components of the headlines because they can be a little tricky sometimes. All right? And then you're going to answer your question down there. Make sure you provide some good evidence as to why you chose that. Make sure you put some good evidence as to why you chose that. Good deal. Seeing a lot of really good answers. You guys are really thinking about this. I love it. Make sure you circle your choice too. Yeah, if you haven't circled your choice, make sure you do that, okay? You got to circle and then provide which answer you circled for, the evidence for the circle. All right, we're going to take about another minute with this, and then that'll close this part of our activity, and we're going to move on. All right. Thank you so much for joining us here today at Fairfield for our media literacy lesson.
Fairfield.